seen it in my lifetime. My mom was murdered during the Trump presidency, and nothing has been done about it. So I've seen what Donald Trump has been responsible for under his presidency.
What? You're blaming Donald Trump for this? Oh my gosh.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
John, nice to meet you.
Kobe. Do I start to?
Yeah, I mean, Trump's character.
Okay.
I think that it's generally good. I mean, I don't look to Donald Trump like you. You will never hear me say the sentence, you know, I just think Donald Trump is the best example of how to be a good husband and someone who's very humble about their means. But I think that what Donald Trump represents as a leader is something that's ultimately good. I think that he does put American interests before himself. And
yes.
I think that, especially when compared to his opponent, Kamala Harris, I don't think that she has integrity. I think that she's doing this to benefit herself. I think that most people in Washington, most people in politics do the same. I think that Trump is a rare example of somebody who's willing to literally lose money, have lower net worth, experience bullets, all sorts of things, legal problems, if it means that he can make his country better. And I think that that's something that's ultimately good.
I do agree with that. But I do have I guess let me put it like this.
Sure.
My mom used to wake me up instead of differently than other children. She used to be like, it's time for school, you know, I guess go ahead and get up. But she would whisper it to me instead of someone saying, get up, hurry, you know,
yeah.
Come on. So I feel like Kamala.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a touching story.
Well, I'm just saying Kamala Harris is more of a motherly figure.
More nurturing Trump.
A motherly figure. Hey, I'm not here to, I mean, I'm sure she's a more motherly figure. I think she has, I don't know if she has children, but she's a woman. So she is probably naturally a more motherly figure, if that makes sense. But anyways, I'm just confused on what this topic has to do with a presidential election. Like, they're talking about Trump or Kamala versus Trump's character, and this young man is bringing up the fact that Kamala Harris is a more motherly figure. I don't know how to respond to that. No comment.
Trump is more kicking the... Yeah, I get that. I understand.
But he'll get the job done.
What was wrong with that story?
There was nothing wrong with that story. However, there was nothing wrong with that story. No, but I think it misses the point of this topic, which is the character.
Sure.
Somebody who has the audacity to say that he feels free to grab women by their genital area. He has a wife. He has made sexual comments about his own daughter.
What were those comments?
What were his comments?
Yeah.
That if she wasn't his daughter, he would go ahead and marry her or date her. That is not something you say about your daughter. He said this. He's talked about his daughter with Howard Stern.
Is that American exceptionalism?
I think that we are talking about Donald Trump as a presidential candidate.
As a presidential candidate, he's a convicted felon.
And offhand comments he makes on radio shows.
He's a liar.
I don't think the charges are legitimate.
He has spread propaganda about Haitians.
What was the propaganda about the Haitians?
That they're eating cats and dogs in Springfield.
Are those the memes?
They're not. No. That is something he said in the presidential debate. He said with his whole chest that they're eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio.
There were videos of people eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio.
There has been no known report. The authorities have said they're spreading.
There has been reports. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen the reports. Let me know if you guys have seen it as well.
Propaganda. Haitians are now experiencing hate crimes because of something he said. That was an unsupported claim he made, a very dangerous claim he made. How is that somebody you want to say has a good character?
I'm not concerned about comments he's made on radio shows in terms of
it was a presidential debate.
With the stuff he said about his daughter. And then in terms of the presidential debate, things he's saying about what's going on in Springfield, there were videos I saw of people walking with geese, with cats, and they were cooking them outside. Those are real videos.
They were Haitians? Has it been reported by Springfield? It has not.
Yes, there were residents all over reporting it.
It has not. Okay, a resident?
Yes.
Again, they can just say whatever. Just like Trump said in the presidential debate, they can also say that. But there's no facts. There have been no known reports made to Springfield.
I would just say correlation is not causation. Just because something's not reported specifically by Springfield does not mean that it did not happen. In order to conclude that, you would have to assume that Springfield will report all of its information and that Springfield will remain objective in everything they have. That is not always true. Because this young man is saying that he's seen it with his own eyes, and you're saying, well, oh, citizens can say anything. In the same breath, I could say Springfield can say anything, or Springfield can choose not to say anything. So you can't really use this line of thinking to logically support your argument.
That is actually
I don't think that's true. There have been lots of residents that were discussing it. I don't trust reporters and I don't trust police.
You trust Trump?
Yes.
Okay, so again, Trump is a convicted felon. He has.
Why is he a convicted felon?
What do you mean, why is he a convicted felon?
I mean, why? What were the charges?
Tax. I believe it was taxes with his company. He wasn't filing his taxes correctly.
So business improprieties.
Right, exactly.
I don't really care about that.
But that's the same person you want to run your economy.
Yes, because
that has no.
As we discussed in the previous segment, he did a great job running the economy.
And I always get confused when people bring up running the economy, because I think this past presidential election is the only election where we can actually compare the two separate economies. For example, Donald Trump ran the economy from 2017 to 2020, and Biden and Harris ran the economy from 2020 to 2024. We can actually say whose economy was better, or who did a better job at running the economy during the times. We don't have to be very hypothetical. We don't have to be very. We can just be very literal when we talk about who ran it better. So the fact that this young woman is completely negating those two economies is very telling.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you
Let's go back to his character, though. Let's go back to his character. Let's not get off topic. Again, he's a convicted felon. He has multiple accusations, which he has been, I don't know if he's been convicted of, but I know he has multiple accusations of sexual harassment. He's a known rapist.
And those have all failed.
They have not all failed. They're still going through.
No, they've had to settle in civil court because there's been no, like with the one recently for like $80-something million she had to pay out. It was found out that she had no evidence. There was nothing there.
Okay, and then one thing that has happened recently that for me was just, it says it plays the day how he is.
Mm-hmm.
In a video, he made a statement. This was in Columbia, South Carolina. He said, you have a black president and you have a white president. And who do you think they want? They want the white president. That is true. That is true.
That's not true. And it always boils down to some type of liberal, radical talking point. Now she's just talking about critical race theory. If it would come down to a white president and a black president, they'll want the white president. You do realize we had a black president, it was actually right before Donald Trump. We had a black president for 2 terms, and he overwhelmingly won both of his elections. Barack Obama. I don't know how you can conveniently forget this, but what you're trying to do, and I don't want to attack her directly. I don't want to say she's slow or anything along those lines. But what you're trying to do is use morality to support your argument. You're trying to say that Donald Trump won the election, or he's favored it because he's a white man and he ran against a black woman and it's because of racism or sexism, and he's a felon. How could you let someone this corrupt win? It's only because he's a white man. But you fail to realize that people do not agree with Kamala Harris's stances. And when you boil it down to her just being a woman, or her just being someone who's black or of color, you're giving her a way out. And you're kind of discrediting her as a politician as well. You're saying that nothing that she does matters. It only boils down to how you look, which life in America has proven to be false. We have had a black president for 2 terms who overwhelmingly won, and he's still heavily involved in the politics. We have had Donald Trump in the office, and we have had him run the economy. We have had Kamala Harris and Biden run the economy. We don't have to be hypothetical. We don't have to make up all these fake talking points. We can just look at what happened while they were in office. Whether or not you voted for Trump or voted for Kamala or you didn't vote at all, we don't have to make stuff up. We can just look at what's happening. But when you have someone like this who just says, forget that, I'm going to just talk about what I want to talk about, I'm going to make whatever I want up, then it becomes dangerous.
That is true. He did say that. 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 How does that make you feel? Because that's completely irrelevant to the presidency, but he's bringing up race. And again, my issue with him is he's created such a divide in this country, one like we have never seen.
Mm-hmm.
How is that somebody you can sit here and say you want not only in office, but someone who has a good character? I don't feel like that is somebody who values me, because yes, I am black.
Sure.
And that is a part of my identity. That makes me who I am. You have to consider that. It is not white and black. It's not black and white. It's not. But for somebody to sit and actually say that the 2 things that make them different, his difference from Kamala is that he's white, and that's why the people want him, That's a dangerous ideology to spread, and we're going to end up recreating history.
Yeah.
If we let that continue, if we let him into office.
I'm not familiar with the comments you're referring to. It sounds to me like it's just something Trump says offhand. But again, I don't know if you've ever been to a Trump rally. It's like the most multiracial experience you'll ever have.
No, it's not.
It absolutely
They're all
is.
white. They're all white in the background.
No, and you look at what happened. I mean, Trump was doing initiatives trying to help Black Americans. Even in the 1990s, he was being honored by initiatives to like increase Black participation in business on Wall Street. And Trump has always gotten along very well with people of all backgrounds. It wasn't until, and a lot of people here are old enough to remember how beloved Trump was as a cultural icon.
He had housing and didn't allow, he denied housing to Black people.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. He had housing.
That's not
and
true.
he denied it to Black people.
That's not true.
Hi, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So I think I'm well versed to comment on this, okay? Trump is a racist. He's a narcissist, he's a con, and he's a liar, okay? He had buildings, he didn't allow Black people to go in there.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
Not because of his race.
I was a New Yorker. Yes, he was. 4 boys was wrongly convicted of a rape of
Central Park
jogger.
Yeah,
he put out. He paid $80,000 to have it advertised. I was there. I lived there. Okay, the trauma that it caused people in New York. We couldn't. I have a brother the same age. We were scared to let our kids out because he put in an ad to put them to death
because they were guilty.
Kids.
You know, they admitted to being
guilty. They were not guilty.
Yes,
they got DNA.
No, I'm serious.
They were
Look
coerced.
Up the Central Park 5.
They were coerced because back then the police force was kind of corrupt. They were coerced. Because they were poor Black boys living in the projects.
Okay.
Their parents could not afford a lawyer. Only one, Yusuf, mother, got a lawyer who actually was a real estater. She was either Jamaican or African, got a real estate lawyer, not even a criminal lawyer, right? And that's why he's the only one who didn't confess, okay? I was there. I remember it.
You saw the Central
I was living it.
Okay.
I lived in New York.
Okay.
Okay? He is a racist. That he would put an ad out on a paper to convict boys.
What does race have to do with it?
So he has.
Please let John respond.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying it's about race, I mean, if you hear a story about 5 boys doing that to a woman, what does race have to do with it?
But
wouldn't he do that about anybody?
You're innocent until you're proven guilty. That's America.
They were.
That's
they
America.
should have been proven guilty.
Deserve to be murdered then, because he's convicted of it.
He's not convicted of rape.
Yes, he is.
That's
He's convicted of rape.
He's convicted of rape.
He's a convicted. That's not true.
He's abused women. He has no respect for women. He likes to have sex with them when he's married. He cheated on all his wives. Matter of fact, I forgot to mention his 2 wives were immigrants. Okay.
So I'm actually fact checking this stuff, and he is not convicted of that. I just looked it up. He has not been criminally convicted of that. I don't know why she just lied. This is my problem with these debates, man. I would just hope, my biggest hope is that both sides would be honest. When they have these talking points, both sides would tell the truth. But every time I hear it, it's always one person who's honest and one person who's just in their feelings or very emotional about a topic, and it makes it hard to follow.
He has no morals. No, he cares nothing about nobody but himself. He's a liar. He had immigrants working for him and don't pay them.
Okay. I have a question then. So you're from New York. You've probably walked by Trump Tower.
My father Union helped put the light fixture in Trump Tower, and my father would say every day, "This guy's an asshole."
So why would you think then,
excuse my language,
if Donald Trump, prior to getting involved in politics, he's living at the top of this skyscraper that's got his name on it, he's got, you know, supermodel wife, all this money coming in, why would he then enter into the realm of politics where every day people are mad at him, they're charging him with things, his net worth is going down? Why would he go through all of that still now to where he's literally has assassination attempts if he didn't care about America? If he was doing it for himself, he would check out whenever, right?
He's doing it for him. He likes the power. He likes to have power. That's all it is. He likes to be recognized. He likes to have the power. That's all it is.
What power, though? I mean, he wasn't able to get anything done, right? So what power does he really have?
He just likes to. He incited the Capitol because he likes the power that he has these people just running to him when he says something. Yes, you know, he likes to have that power.
How you doing, sir? John, nice to meet you.
Oh, we're here talking about the character, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I believe Donald Trump is it's an okay character myself. We both share the same birthdays, and I also believe sorry for saying it, but we as black people, we get caught up on the wrong candidates.
Yeah.
Like, I think we forget, like, Kamala Harris, the vice president. So what if she becomes president, what would change if she already the vice president? And I do feel like when Trump was in office, I feel like it was a better economy and things for us, you know. And
this is the first person I've heard come on here and just be fair. He's the first one who came on here and just fair. And I'm not saying you have to support Trump to be fair. I'm just saying, if you're talking about who's going to be the best presidential candidate, shouldn't you talk about who did the best job as a presidential elect or a vice presidential elect? That is the best indicator. I don't care what anyone says. That is the literal best indicator of who will be the next best president. Donald Trump was president for 4 years. What did he do when he was in office? Did he do a good job? Did he do a bad job? Did he do an okay job? Kamala Harris has been the vice president for the past 4 years. Did she do a good job? Did she do a bad job? Did she do an okay job? But now we're talking about a ruling in 1973. She talked about the Donald Trump not giving housing to black people, which he hasn't been convicted of. I looked all this stuff up. You can find out information in seconds on a phone. He was not convicted of that. They say he was convicted of RAP. He was not convicted of that. You're just lying. And this is not me. This is not my opinion. You're just literally making up lies to go against this man. Why don't we talk about who did better in office? That will actually affect our lives. Whoever won the election, Donald Trump won at this point. And I think these people are pissed off that he won or something. That's going to really affect our lives. And you're bringing up other things that honestly don't matter that much. But let's get back to it.
And another thing, Kamala Harris also locked up a lot of African Americans
for possession of weed, like just
And I think we forget about that. So
it's
okay. It's okay.
I appreciate you, man.
Now I'm gonna bring race into it. 400 years of slavery, and also just like the history of America. I don't even have to go that far deep, but why is it such a big deal if the first woman and the first black woman runs a country when y'all have fucked it up for so many years and hundreds of years? I don't understand that.
So do you think then that like everything that's happened in American history in terms of politics is all a monolith of white people?
Majority, yes.
And white people all act the same, have the same interests, and we messed it up so badly?
Not the same interests, but like, I will say white men are accustomed to telling and not listening.
I think that's a dangerous route to go down, because if you start saying something like, okay, look at the white people in charge of this country, look how badly they messed it up. Well, you look at non-white people in charge of other countries in the world and nobody wants to go live there and everyone wants to come live here. So again, if you start keeping score, you can get to some pretty scary conclusions, which I would disagree with. But
I think my whole point is that like...
Yeah, your point didn't really make much sense. It didn't make much sense, man. I just want one person to come up here and show any type of objectivity promoting Kamala Harris as president. Because what this video is proving to me is that a lot of the people who voted for her have no idea what they're talking about at all. Because I haven't heard one thing that actually proves she'd be a better president. And it's kind of sad because she did have some acts when she was in office. She definitely did. She pushed forward the Affordable Care Act. Under Biden and Kamala, inflation, it did skyrocket. Don't get me wrong. It did skyrocket for the first 2 years, but it did also go down to a low in 2022. They signed that legislation. I think they put forward a Child Care Act too, but I can't prove it right now. But all I'm saying is they did some stuff, and I know this. So I'm surprised that her super heavy advocates do not know this. Anyways.
We want to focus on character, though, there's a little bit of a...
2 minutes.
So could you just tell me for a second the top 3 positive attributes of Donald Trump that you think make him an excellent leader specifically?
Sure. Incredible resilience, charisma, and transparency.
Can I ask you a question about that? Transparency.
Yep.
That's interesting word to use specifically for someone who isn't even transparent with the person they pick to be their spouse. Do you think that if you pick a spouse and then have to go cheat on them, do you think that you're very good at judging other people's character?
Yeah, I'm not really concerned with like tabloid gossip. I'm concerned about the border being wide open and the economy.
Do you think it's tabloid gossip if there's physical evidence of it?
Absolutely. And one thing I would say, though, just to, I guess, wrap this up, we've heard a lot about Trump's character like we have for the last 10 years, which, again, he was a beloved cultural figure. It was only
beloved by whom?
Everybody.
I'm from Connecticut, and I can tell you that New England hates Donald Trump.
He had the highest...
If she was proven wrong, obviously Donald Trump is beloved. He won basically at every metric you can win in a presidential election. He's beloved by somebody because people voted for him. And when you brought up him cheating on his wife, if you're referring to a presidential election, that is kind of gossipy. It's very gossipy, and even it's proven historically inaccurate because there were presidents who were proven to cheat on their wives, and they are still very highly regarded as presidents. Not saying it's right. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should go out there and cheat on your wife and you'll be a great leader. I'm just saying that in terms of a presidency, there are presidents that I'm sure she supports or supported who definitely cheated on their wives. It's not even a shadow of a doubt. They cheated on their wives. JFK had an entire mistress. You probably still supported them as top or great presidents. But anyways, let's continue.
Rated shows. Everybody loved Trump. And now what we're seeing is these character assassinations by the media.
Character assassinations?
Absolutely. So I guess I would just ask you this. Okay, if Trump's character is the worst, sure. Why do you trust the character of somebody like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, people who have been career politicians, who have been in charge of this country as it's seen its decline?
Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. I trust a prosecutor to do the job of a prosecutor over a felon to do the job of a felon. Do you think that it is American exceptionalism to have a felon representing our country?
I think Donald Trump is American exceptionalism.
Domestic and foreign relations. Yeah. Do you think that's something you're proud of?
I'm proud of Donald Trump.
You're proud. So you support felons being CEOs and executives. That's what you want to see. That's the exceptional America you want to see.
You use the word felon to invoke imagery of scary crime.
No, I'm just asking you.
Tax impropriety.
I'm asking you.
With all of these, like,
you think those are the people that are going to uphold democratic values of honesty, respect, American exceptionalism? You think someone who is actively engaged in lying and fraud is going to do those things?
Which he's not, and he has, and he does.
He's literally in legal. He's in the legal preparation right now. We just don't know how many counts he's going to be guilty of.
Right. And the reason for that, like with all the other persecution against Donald Trump, isn't because they finally isn't because they finally found the one person in politics who's corrupt. I think everybody in this room would agree that DC is a swamp and everybody there is in it for themselves, at least for the most part. What's weird to me is that Donald Trump would get in there saying he wants to drain the swamp, and all of a sudden we would see an unprecedented level of persecution, be that slander in the media, be that legal persecution, physical persecution against his safety with assassination attempts. All that, which none of us have seen in our lifetimes. So
I've
for
seen
that
it
to
in
make
my
sense,
lifetime. My mom was murdered during the Trump presidency, and nothing has been done about it. So I've seen what Donald Trump has been responsible for under his presidency.
Because of
what? You're blaming Donald Trump for this? Oh my gosh. I didn't know people were this biased. I had no idea that people were this biased. This is insane. You sound insane right now. You genuinely sound insane. And I kind of feel bad because, you know, I go into these type of videos like wanting to be objective, like who would be a better leader, Kamala or Trump? But all this does, and I'm sure if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. This just makes y'all look crazy. When people watch this, it makes Trump supporters look even more right. It makes Kamala supporters look foolish because y'all aren't putting out a good image of yourselves. But anyways, if you have any comments or suggestions, comment down below. It's LFR Jojo. Let me know if you want a part 2 to this. I'll see you guys later.